Thoughts in your conversations?
Yeah, well, there are many, but one that's often referred to is a man called Keith Ward. Now, he was, until his recent retirement, the Regius Professor of Divinity at Oxford, so Britain's most senior Christian theologian, and he is himself an ordained priest in the Church of England. He's a very, very nice man, very, very senior, brilliant man. And I invited him on, and I knew the answer to my question, but he then said something else in addition. So my question was, do you think Muhammad was a prophet of God? Now, I knew what he was going to say, but it's what he said afterwards that I didn't expect. So he said, yes. Okay, well, really? Okay. So Muhammad's, but I knew that because he's a fairly liberal Christian. Then I said to him, well, what about your colleagues, your Christian theologian colleagues and the Christian philosophers in your world? This is the world of Oxford, Cambridge, Harvard, Yale, a very high level. What do they think about Muhammad? Do they think he's a prophet of God? And he said, oh, yeah, they do. Nearly all of them do. And I thought, what? And I didn't. This is on YouTube. You can see it. And I think that shocked me because I didn't expect him to say that. And I think what this speaks to is the huge disconnect between, at the very highest levels of what I call the Christian ulama. They're very, very well educated. They know about Moses and about Jesus and Muhammad, peace be upon them all. And they recognize that the prophet is a prophet. But they don't really say so publicly because these people often have, positions in the church. But privately, they see that. But the average, so-called average person in the pew in the church don't know what these scholars think. And so they're completely unaware of that fact. So what struck me is that for the last 1400 years, you've had this civilizational clash between the Christian West and the Muslim world. And in a sense, at the highest level, the Christian West have conceded the point that Muhammad was a prophet. But the news hasn't filtered down.
Yeah, but this also brings up another very important issue. If a person says, I do recognize Muhammad as a prophet, it must have it must be followed by action.
Yes, well, this is exactly right. So my next question after that is, in a sense, I was, without trying to put it too simplistically, but why haven't you become a Muslim? That was my question. And or they didn't quite put it like that, but he knew what I was asking, and he gave an answer which you'll have to see on the channel. And it was a bit of I didn't find it totally persuasive. He gave reasons why he hasn't embraced Islam. He didn't feel he had the need to. He said, well, Islam leads to God, Christianity leads to. He didn't feel the need to do it, and I'm not going to judge. It's up to him what he does, but I think the important point for me was that a very learned Christian theologian, in fact, the most senior Christian theologian in Britain, appointed directly by the Queen at that time, the Regius Professor of Divinity at Oxford, is not like an average professor. Acknowledged that he was a prophet and said that his colleagues knew that too.